Good morning and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about episode 2 of Britcar. Let's go! As I said in the intro, we're going to be talking about episode 2 of Britcar. Now, episode 2 was at Oulton Park, but before we get into that, as per usual, I have two Hot Wheels next to me. Leave a comment below on what you think those Hot Wheels are, and I'll get back to you to see if you are correct. Now, round 2 was at Oulton Park of Against the Grain, the Britcar Endurance Championship documentary that I'm currently making. If you don't know what I'm on about, have a look at episode 1. I'll link up here somewhere. I'm basically following the Army sports car racing team through the Britcar Endurance Championship. There's going to be 8 rounds, and yesterday I've literally just got back last night from Oulton Park round 2, hence why I am repping the new merch. As you can kind of see here, we've got, hang on, wrong side, Army here, Britcar here. Is my camera going to pick me up? There we go. Britcar on the other side. This side, jeez, it's all opposites at the moment. Anyway, yeah, new merch, exciting times, really good. Had a bit of a few dramas on the weekend. I'm not going to go into it too much because the episode hasn't gone out yet, but I'm going to talk about from my perspective of what I did over the past few days. So I travelled up Thursday. Luckily for me, it's not too far away actually. It's about an hour and a half plus from me, not far at all. And as I arrived, only a couple of the guys, Chadders and Will, had just turned up. And they were cracking on with shaving some tyres. The guys do this to basically get rid of the top layer, the very, very, very top layer of the slicks, to make sure that you've got best surface area of the tyre on the track. And you've got kind of semi-fresh slicks on there. So yeah, that was good. I wasn't planning on doing much of an interview there because last time I just did just a couple of clips to show the viewers that it's literally arrival, and that's about it, something to signify that it's arrival. But Will said this is quite an integral part of shaving the tyres in preparation, so I thought I'd get a little piece to camera from him, a few clips of them doing it with the lush, low setting sun, and yeah, that was cool. Then I squared away all of my kit, got my roof tent back up and open, which I'll probably make a video at some point about the roof tent. Just a completely separate video. It's a pretty cool tent that I've just recently got, and it's not a tent box like everybody else has got. Anyway, moving on to Friday. So Friday is test day. There's 4 practices, 2 45 minutes and 2 50 minutes of practice. Yeah, this is a really good chance for the guys to put some track time down with decent weather, and just get a feel for the track and make sure the car is set up, and also test that the gearbox dramas that you had in round 1 were squared away nicely. And Will smashed it out before round 2, so he did some mapping, shall we say, to the sequential gearbox to make sure that it's changing gear at the right time, and when also you're downshifting, that the revs are matching the revs of the gearbox, and the clutch and everything else is going to match, so that when you downshift, the gears are as smooth as possible. So yeah, did some really good prep. Yeah, Friday went really well actually. I was trying to think if there's any dramas. So there was one drama which they were going to sort out late on into the evening, and they were doing that whilst I was doing the interviews and stuff like that. Basically, where from my understanding anyway, the clutch plates, because it's a racing clutch, where the shims had like expanded with the heat, they basically not warp, but they expand, and then it binds the clutch so that when you're at idle, it tries to go forward, which is not good. So they just had to make some adjustments, shave a few bits off the clutch just to make sure that the clutch doesn't go. It's a good clutch, but just make sure that it doesn't wear down, and also make sure that they can get as much longevity of the gearbox as possible, which is always good for endurance races for a start. But also we need to make sure that we can make the car last as best as possible throughout the whole season, because the budget margins are so fine, and the margin for error is so fine as well between all the races, and you've only got like 4 to 5 weeks between each race. So somehow Will manages to smash it all out in between races. So yeah, Friday was good. Got some good times, and I believe at one point they were the quickest on track, not even the quickest in class, but the quickest out of McLarens that have got an extra 200 horsepower plus. So really good effort on Friday, which was good to have spirits high before practice and qualifications, which is on Saturday. But just before Saturday, I did the interviews. Now, I was trying to think of what I could actually ask, because the first episode, I thought the second episode, go off on a little tangent here, I thought that the second episode was going to be easier than the first one, because in the first one, it's like getting to know the team, the guys on the team, new people. It's episode 1, so everything has to go right. Make sure I had to film the right stuff, make sure I have to have the right amount of footage, and also it was an intro to the drivers, so I had to make sure that the edit was a certain way. So I thought episode 2 was going to be easier, but because so many dramas and different bits and pieces over the weekend just gone, that yeah, this one I haven't edited it yet, but this one's going to be a nightmare to edit, I think. And I don't have much time to edit either, because I go back to work tomorrow. You're not going to see this for another week from me talking to you now. But I go back to work tomorrow, so Monday, Tuesday in the office, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday I'm away with work to do something different, so I won't be able to edit. Come back Saturday, Sunday for home, and then I go away on holiday for 4 days with the family, so I won't be able to edit then either. So yeah, and then also somehow I managed to have 700-ish gigabytes of memory, whereas episode 1 was 430 gigs. So God knows where this extra, whatever the maths is, 250 gigs, wherever that's gone, wherever it's come from, I have no idea. Anyway, I digress. Moving on to Saturday. So they squared away the gearbox, which was mega. Friday night, they also plumbed the steering, the toe and the camber, making sure everything's squared away, everything's lined up, good to go. And then Saturday morning is the day of, it's pressure's on for me, it's the day of practice. So you have an hour of free practice. That's just to make sure that the car's set up properly. You're more likely to have more cars on the track because the test day before, not everybody's going to be there, but free practice in the morning, more people are going to be there, more competitors on track. It's good, just a good chance to test a few things out, make sure the car's set up properly, and all that good stuff. I'm trying to think whether there's any dramas on free practice yesterday, because yesterday was absolutely wild, which I'll come on to in a bit. I can't think if there are any dramas for the actual free practice, but my footage, I was really happy. I made sure that I stayed on one particular side of the track, and I basically just got a clip, made sure it was good, moved on to the next part. It takes 1 minute and 40 odd seconds, 1 minute 43 seconds for the cars to come back round, so you don't have much time at all. So the pressure is on to get a clip, move to the next spot before getting another clip. So basically that's all I did, was basically move from the final turn, which is called Lodge Corner, all the way along the, all the way along the back straight, past the start finish line, all that good stuff. And try and experiment and get some different bits and pieces, because I knew that for qualifying I was going to stay in the pits, because I want to try and build the tension and get shots of the guys in the garage, which I'll also come on to in a second. And then the race, I wanted to, well, I'll come on to that in a second as well, but I wanted to focus on a couple of the corners rather than trying to spread myself too thin and then not getting enough of what I wanted. So yeah, qualification, absolutely wild. Like I said, I stayed in the pits, and so they've only got 10 minutes practice and then 10 minutes to get 3 or 4 decent laps, like hot laps, so should we say. And then halfway through the practice, there was a medical emergency on the side, of which 2 of our guys on the media team, we've got Becca and David, both doing photography on the day. They were first on the scene to help out this civilian. Not going to go into the details of the dramas, the medical emergency that this civilian had, but they were both on the scene which has been noted by Oulton Park and various other press agencies, which is mega. So hats off to the guys that were there first on the scene. It puts the army team in a really good light within a civilian focused motorsport background event. So yeah, really good. But that caused a challenge for us because it basically had to red flag, make sure that emergency vehicles could get onto the track to get this person away, and the margins are so thin with these racing events that it's not like they can keep pushing all these incidents, red flags and everything else like that further along, because the day will just go and then you're screwed. So basically we lost the 10 minutes practice. Meanwhile we're waiting in the pits, the car's getting cold, the tyres are getting cold, and Will has to put in like 3 laps with a cold car with cold tyres. So pressure was on, and I believe he was a second off, but we started 6th on the grid and 5th in class, so it was good, really good. The strategy, I believe if I remember rightly, the strategy was going to be that JC was going to start first with a larger fuel tank, 85 litres I think it was, and then Josh was going to go, and then with a worn and hot car, which Will can manage better than the other 2 guys because they're not used to the car. Will was going to end up finishing the race. Meanwhile, so race started. I was right at the start of the race line. I wanted to try and get a shot of the guys coming out the pits, so I had my 70-200 going across the track to get it, literally a clip of them coming out the pits. And then as soon as I got that clip, I legged it about 150 meters. Bearing in mind I'm in boots, trousers, a t-shirt, carrying 2 cameras, a tripod and my bag, and yeah, with lenses and spare stuff, loads of batteries, water and food, of which I didn't drink any water and I didn't have any food because I was busy, and it's like 25 degrees. So anyway, legged it 150 meters to a position where I wanted to film the guys. They've got 1 lap, so it's probably like 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes for them to come do one small lap to then line up on the grid behind the safety car. So I've got to leg it, make sure focus is good, composition is good, exposure is good before he's even in sight on the start grid. I had a long lens looking at the light because the lights are going to go out, and I had a wide angle following them. So I had 2 cameras recording at the same time, so it's a lot to think about. Anyway, got the clip, happy with the clip. Well, happy with the clip in my head. I haven't actually looked at the footage of those particular clips yet, but I got the stuff that I wanted. Then I legged it. Now, I wanted to get across the steps, but I know that the track's only going to be there. The car's only going to come back round every 1 minute and 40 seconds, which is not a lot when you're carrying loads of kit, and it's not a lot anyway, even if you're just walking normally. Anyway, basically just have to keep anticipating and leapfrogging and just making best use case of getting as many clips. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just make sure that you get the clip of the Janetta coming back round and try and use as much time as you can, because you've only got an hour and a half, which sounds like a lot, but it's not. An hour and a half to get as much footage as you can of different variation of footage, because I didn't think I had much, or not enough anyway. So I basically kept on leapfrogging. Long story short, got to one of the corners and I was waiting for them to come round, and I was expecting them to come round at a certain point, and they never came round, and I was like, oh no. This is only like 5-10 minutes into the race. I don't know the ins and outs, so I'm definitely not going to speculate, but basically the car went into the gravel multiple times throughout the day, like five offs I believe they had, 2 into the gravel, 2 safety cars anyway, which was a drama. One of them messed up the bumper pretty good, which is repairable, but yeah, I've only got 4 or 5 weeks to square that away. So anyway, I'm waiting for it to come back round. I thought, well, I'm not going to wait for it to come back round, because I knew that they were under safety car, so I got a couple of clips of the yellow flags to signify the safety, and then basically legged it onto the other side of the track, which was far. It's got to be, in my head, let's think, I was going to say 400 meters. It's got to be way more than that. I don't know, let's say it's 1 kilometer from one side of the track to the other, not as a crow flies, but as you walk. And yeah, basically legged it to try and get some spots that I hadn't got before. and because I had 2 cameras as well, I had to make sure one camera has got the static flying round, and then I'm following it with my handheld camera. So I had this, I don't know if you can see it at the moment, this is the 70 to 200 here on a tripod, and then I had the 24 to 70 with the microphone. I only had one microphone at the time, so I basically kept on having to switch the microphone over depending on the shots that I was getting. So yeah, that was awkward. So it was a lot to handle, basically, with 2 cameras, 2 different lenses, 2 different focal lengths, one microphone, swap them over if I needed to. But I'm really happy with some of the stuff that I've got, like most of the stuff I've got, to be honest. I ended up doing 17,000 steps by the time I got back, and because I didn't have any water or any food when I should have done, I was pretty wiped out when I got back, and I still had to make sure that I've got a couple of bits and pieces from the manager, driver, anybody else that wanted to say anything on camera, just to keep the story, tell the story. And then also, because of the off, they had to take the bumper off and various other bits and pieces, so I filmed that too. Whereas at the end of episode 1, which again, link in the description below, or visit the link above, episode 1, I ended it with basically writing on the screen to signify what had happened, obviously to tell the story. But this time round, there will be a different ending, which stand by for that, like and subscribe. But overall, really good weekend. I have got a lot to go through, so I'm not going to bore you for too much longer, but yeah, please like and subscribe and let everybody know that this series is a thing. And yeah, episode 2 coming in a few weeks. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Probably missed something, but it was a hectic weekend, and it's still pretty fresh. So yeah, head's a bit of a blur. I could do with some sleep, but there we go. Back to work tonight. Anyway, enough about me. Comment below any questions. Doesn't matter what it is. No question is a stupid question. About anything, photography, kit, how the day went, any questions about the race, all that good stuff. But yeah, I'll be intrigued to hear from you guys and girls. So without further ado, like I said, thanks very much for watching. Like, share, subscribe, all of those cool things. I shall catch you in the next one.